where she needs to be and let her get used to this as I was getting used to it. So it was you know, I said that was just a great experience of just leading up to actually shooting.
That's some Roy Rogers, Tex Avery kind of stuff that you do in there. Now, of course, Denis once played in a wonderful film called Fade to Black, a movie-obsessed guy who dresses up as different movie characters when he goes on a killing spree, including Hopalong Cassidy. So there's a through line here. But I did want to go to Denis next and just ask, Quentin always seems to have such incredible casting instincts, and he brings people back to us on the screen that we haven't seen in a while.
Thank God.
In these terrific plum roles. And talk a little bit about your experience of entering into this world, how it happened, and working with Quentin as an actor.
My agent got a script from Quentin, and when you look at the cover, it sort of looks like a book report. Django Unchained by Quentin Tarantino, in his big scrawl, like he has to turn it into school, like it's a school report or something like that. And this script arrived, and my agent said, "I have a script here from Quentin Tarantino." I said, "Congratulations." He said, "I'm sending it right over for you." So I read it, and the character was supposed to be the same age as Leonardo's character. And I called back my agent. I said, "He does know that Breaking Away was about 30 years ago, doesn't he?" And I'm not there anymore. He said, "Yeah, I know. I asked Vicki Thomas, and she said that he was going to rewrite it for you." Now, I haven't even had a meeting yet. And I went, "Well, that sounds pretty good, doesn't it?" And he says, "Yeah, just don't blow it." So I went in and met with him, and we spoke for 3 hours about film like you can't believe. And he had seen everything that I'd ever been in, and he said, and I saw it the week that it opened. And I pulled out some really bad titles. I said, "You saw Dead Women in Lingerie?" And he said, "Yeah, with a title like that, why wouldn't I?" He said, the film sucked, but you were great in it. We just talked and talked. I think the cincher was, I Googled my character's name, Leonid Mogi, and it's one of Quentin's favorite directors. He's a Russian director who discovered Ava Gardner. And I think that was just the little tiny thing that really sparked it. But we spoke film for 3 hours. I came in a week later. We spoke for another hour, and he went, "Oh, wait a minute. You're going to be in the movie, right?" And I went, "Yeah, right." And then we went right back to talking again. And about 10 minutes after that, I said, "Wait a minute," and started to, feel like I just got cast in a Quentin Tarantino movie, you know what I mean? And I said, "I think we have to hug this out for a second." And he said, "By all means," and he threw his arm around me. And that was it. And that was it. And I was off to New Orleans for 4 months.
Nicole, can you kind of take us inside Candyland a little bit and talk about what that set was like and how long you guys were shooting just that part of the film, because it really feels like one long set piece that takes up about an hour of screen time or more.
Candyland, all the sets were just in. It feels like we were there for 10 years. It's amazing. There's actually Tarantino blood. He likes it a little brighter and chunkier than the actual blood. So.
I understand it goes very well.
That over the one. No, we need the Tarantino blood.
It goes very well with angel hair pasta.
Yeah.
I just have to say, our brilliant production designer, Michael Riva, who you saw everywhere in every moment of this film. We lost him right before the big finish. And I just had to say his name out loud while you all could hear it.
And Nicole, Janie talked about having some initial hesitations about maybe doing a movie on this subject or with this language in it, but that all fell away as soon as he read the script. Did you have a similar experience?
I had 0 reservations. Even before this, I was a huge Tarantino fan. I got the script. I thought, okay, I'm going to read for 20 minutes and go on and do something else. And 2 hours later, I had read the entire script page to page and wanted to start again because I didn't want it to be over. It was amazing. It was like candy, as you guys all saw. It's the most amazing thing I've read. I thought it was fantastic. I was in immediately with no reservations.
And Jamie, can you talk a little bit about playing opposite Christoph Waltz, because the two of you have such terrific chemistry together.
Absolutely.
And so much of the first part of the film is really you two guys.
Well, you know what's amazing, just meeting Christoph, and that was, like I said, we parallel. When I would explain to him stories that happened to me in Texas, I told him that there was a city in Texas, because he was trying to grasp racism in America. And I said, racism is still here. It's just, we're in Hollywood right now, Beverly Hills and everything is sort of, fake a little bit, for lack of a better word. But, I grew up in a town where when President Obama won presidency in 2008, and my town's only 12,000 people, and, all the newspaper, there was only like 7 pages. So all the good black people, good white people, good Hispanics rushed to the, get the local newspaper to see this big thing, And he wasn't on the front of the newspaper. And so I was like, oh, man, wow. And so CNN comes to our town. And I'm paraphrasing, but they said, how come you didn't put him on the front of the newspaper? Hey, listen, we run a newspaper, not a scrapbook. I suggest you guys get off our property, right? And as I explained that to Christoph, people, why is this? And I said, why that? I said, listen, that's just the way things work. So when you see us on screen, especially at that point where he's like going through the antebellum South, like how is this even possible that this could be happening? And then you see our characters come to that point where the dog scene with Leo, and you see him squirm, and you see Django like, this is just another Tuesday for me. So it was a great experience meeting him, especially after Inglourious Basterds, and a great job that he did, and that was fantastic. And to be able to like you said, to be able to work with Quentin Tarantino, to be able to work with Leonardo DiCaprio, to be able to work with Samuel Jackson, Christoph, Kerry Washington, all these people here, it was mind-blowing it was like an all-star game. Like, you didn't get a lot of sleep because you were so worried about somebody's going to kick your ass in the next scene. Like when you had to work with Samuel Jackson, it was just crazy. And it was the action, he'd run a circle around you and then start saying his lines. So he was like, come on, motherfucker, come on with it. And at one point, Leo went, fuck, this motherfucker's amazing. I said, yeah. I would just do shit during the rehearsal just to try to, I was just like a little puppy, trying to swing at a dog. Like, Sandy would be saying his lines, and I just go, I'm gonna cut your fucking head off. He'd say, come on, motherfucker. Nothing was working, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, but it was like you're all in because you know that what was even more fantastic is you had a person like Quentin Tarantino to him who, I don't know if you noticed this, but every time he came to work, he was one of the characters. If he was working with Leo, he would come to work and he would be, Calvin Candy. If he was coming to work and it was a Samuel Jackson, he would be his Stevens character. So he would come there, and I told him, I said, you should shoot some type of a magazine layout and in the background show all the characters of you dressed in those characters, because it was so amazing the way he got the performances out of everybody, especially when you look at, and I'll just speak freely about this, when I'm in rehearsal with Christoph and we're working for a long time before Leo and Sam come in, it was like the new guys on the team, and then Leo walks in, good looking, and, this is the dude with the models, we're thinking, and the OK and Touch magazine, so we assessing, what's he up to, and then he comes in, hits the ground, and I mean, absolutely running, and at one point, I watched Leo have to deal with the difficulty of saying the word nigga, and he was like, buddy, this word, and Samuel Jackson goes, come on, motherfucker, we in this shit, right? Come on, motherfucker, fuck these motherfuckers, let's get this shit, this is just another Wednesday, fuck them, right? And then I told Leo, I said, yeah, you know what? I'm your property. At that time, as sad as it is to say, nigga was not a hot button word. Nigga was just a way to describe us. So, now, today, of course it is, but now at that time it's just a label. So you got to get past that. I'm not your homie. We're not repped by the same people. And that's the only way that we could get, and that's the only way you can get that brilliant performance that he has. And then the next day he walks in, and I forgot what I told him the day before. I'm like, what's up, Leo? Hey, what's up, baby? This motherfucker don't hear me? Hey, what's up? He didn't speak to me. And then he went about his business as Calvin Candy. So there was some brilliant things going on.
One of the things I like so much in the film is this running idea of that it's kind of a movie about acting. Christoph's character talks to you about you're going to play a role and you're not going to break character, and he talks to Calvin about wanting to have a sense of showmanship when he goes into the Mandingo fighting business. And I'm wondering if Quentin talked to you guys when you were preparing the film in those terms at all, that in a way it was a film on some level about performing and people playing something other than their real selves.
Well, it's if you look at all of his movies, it's always in all of his movies. They're in a movie theater in Inglourious Bastards. I mean, in every movie, if you go back, there is an element of performance to every character in his films. He always tips his hat to that in his movies. So it wasn't spoken to us, but as you read the script many times, you see that that's what's going on, that you're all playing a part.
He spoke directly to me during rehearsal and said, I need to talk to you for a second in the other room. I said, what's up? He says, you got to be a slave. You have to stop this. And I was like, what are you talking about? He says, you're Jamie Foxx right now. And then I looked at myself. I had my Louis bag and my Range Rover keys and all of this. And I know it sounds funny, but he was really right. In our business, we work so hard to become a star that when you actually go into work, sometimes it's hard to leave those things because you have worked so hard as a black man coming from Texas and now this and now I got this strong, vibrato and I'm Jamie Foxx. And so he says, I need you to stop it. He said, because if you don't do it, we're dead. And he said, and that was the trouble that I had with looking at someone like yourself. He said, because you have to be vulnerable. You have to be a slave. You have to not know how to read. I know you know how to read, but we have to not know. He said, you can't be Jim Brown right now. In the movie, he was referring to Jim Brown in his westerns. You have to eventually evolve to this character. So that was where you don't go to sleep. Because now how do you go find that? And even with all of my studying, I was still studying from the point of a person who's, intelligent and I'm my own man. I am Django evolved already. So to go back to square one, that was the thing about working with Quentin Tarantino, making you leave your cell phone at home or making you leave, you couldn't bring your cell phone on set at all or you'd be fired. And he said, and that's across the board because we're doing art. We're coming to work for art. So it was things like that for me that allowed me to humble myself as an actor so that when you guys see it, you feel it. And so those things that we feel as a professional black man or black woman and we watch and those things make us feel uncomfortable, it's because we choose, and Quentin Tarantino chose to make you feel uncomfortable about that. And then towards the end of the movie, you feel like, okay, he's evolved, and that's the stuff that we are eventually about to be.
Did he give you guys any homework assignments in terms of films to look at? Because the other thing we always think of with Quentin is that he's referencing a lot of films and film genres in his movies, and here's a Western, spaghetti Western in particular. Were there any films he wanted you to look at, either to look at a certain character or a certain sequence that he had in mind for this film?
I was going to say, he didn't give us any homework, but when you're working on a film with Quentin Tarantino, Jamie Foxx, Dennis Christopher, Christoph Waltz, Kerry Washington, you're doing your own homework.
Yeah.
Always,
yeah,
constantly.
You better be on the Google. You better get the list of the movies, and any word you see with a capital in front of it, you have to Google that. And you have to look it up, and if there's a movie, you have to watch that movie, get that movie, watch it. He does a thing where every weekend, we have a movie on Friday, and we'll have a movie on Saturday, and a movie on Sunday. And sometimes it's a reference, sometimes it'll be a spaghetti western, often or not it'll be a kung fu movie, or a Godzilla movie, or something like that. But it showed his whole wide range and what he pulls off of, what he takes from. And you can see it in the movies that he would show to us. But like Nicole said, you get in there and you do your homework before you see everything you can.
In the best way you could put it, what is the difference as an actor to step onto a Quentin Tarantino set than 90% of the other sets that you step onto? What creates this special atmosphere?
Quentin, tired as you might be, as upset as you might be with a scene or what you're doing or what you're not doing or what's happening, he just infects you. There's no way to resist it. And the energy and the joy with all the crew, all the cast. There's no technology on the set. There's no cell phones, computers, laptops, cameras, anything. Because he doesn't want you getting a text that says, the pipe just broke in the basement. You know what I mean? He doesn't want any of that shit. You're there, and he wants you in your out. You know what? You don't hang around in your street clothes. You go into the set and you're dressed as character. And he many times he likes very much that you stay in character. At least with the accent, with the clothes, with the mannerisms, the way you sit, the way you stand. He likes that. He likes his chess pieces all very ready to be able to use, even if you're not shooting, just so he can get an idea, so he can see you standing a certain way or sitting a certain way, and it pops up. He takes everything that there is and he creates a magic on the set that's impossible to resist.
You're in Quentin's world from the minute that you walk onto that set. I don't think he ever called me Nicole in 3 months. I was Shiva. Always. At lunch, at rehearsal, afterwards.
Did he always call you Django?
Oh yeah. But we had a completely. I'll give you my history of directors. I've been one of the most fortunate actors, I think, on the planet. My first real gig with Oliver Stone, who has some of the same DNA, very tough-minded though, very, will put you through calisthenics, like, a mental thing that he was running. Michael Mann, who just literally will beat your ass down to the ground to build you back up as a better actor. So all of these different things and different people I've worked with, Sam Mendes, Antoine Fuqua, by the time I met Quentin, my disciplinary muscle was already there. But to watch his progression of the beginning of the movie when he was very, very tough, and he was very, very challenging, and he was very, very, let's get this. And then when we get on the set, I don't know if you felt this, we're shooting, and I come in all, I'm all this, and I'm zen, and I'm ready to go, and all of a sudden, okay, shots. I was like, what? And after however many rolls, 25 or 100 rolls of film, we all do shots. So I said, what's going on? And they said, well, we got shots of Patron. And we took the shots of Patron. And I was like, what? I've never done this. Did you tell me? And to watch the fact that he was disciplinary, but when we got going, we were all team, we were all a family. And that was one aspect that was amazing. The other amazing aspect is, I called him hip-hop because he could just change on a dime and rewrite something. He blows the house up. I don't know if I'm giving this away. He blows the house up out of sequence because he thinks that the end of the movie is me standing on the rubble and having a shootout with the other guys. And he stands on the road and says, this doesn't work. This doesn't work. And all of these people around Quentin who are going, what do you mean it doesn't work? We set this up for 6 to 8 months. And he says, it doesn't work. He says, I'm going to go rewrite the end of the movie. And he went to his house. We didn't go to work for a couple of days. After 2 days, I got it. And he came back, and the ending that you see is the ending that he handwritten. And what was amazing about him is that him as a leader was so infectious that everybody that was there who were weary and tired from working a long time moved on a dime and made it happen. So when I look at him, I say, that's another great aspect of you. The other thing is this. Every actor knows that you have to work with Quentin Tarantino. Because what Quentin Tarantino does is, it's the old school thing. He shoots only film. He shoots only one camera. He says, I'm a video director, not a video selector. That means everything that he shoots is going to be lean. So when he's editing it, everything he shot, he knows he likes it. So he has an embarrassment of riches, right? And so that's fantastic. And the last part about it is he makes a star out of it. And everybody's waiting with anticipation to see this movie. And like I said, people out there are just waiting to see it. It's going to jump through.
Well, I think we're just about out of time, but I want to thank again very much Dennis Christopher, Nicole Galicia, and Jamie Foxx